This is Marlena Pavillapando from BSBA 1 to 4. So now let's look at some compelling reasons why we think life is better in pre-colonial. The first is women shared equal status with men. During pre-colonial times, women shared equal footing with men in society. They were allowed to divorce, own and inherit property, and even lead their respective barangays or territories. In fact, it could be said that pre-colonial Philippines was largely matriarchal, with the opinions of women holding great weight in matters of politics and religion. They also headed the rituals as the babaylans. Second, society was more tolerant back then. Aside from allowing divorce, women back then also had a say in how many children they wanted. Sexuality was not as suppressed and no premium was given to virginity before marriage. Surprisingly, with the amount of sexual freedom, no prostitution existed during the pre-colonial days. Third, the people enjoyed a higher standard of government. The relation of the ruler to his subject was very simple back then. In return for his protection, the people paid tribute and served him both in time of war and peace. Although the datus technically came from the upper classes, he could be removed from his position by the lower classes if they found him wanting of his duties. Also, anyone, including women, could become the datu on their merits such as bravery, wisdom, and leadership ability. Fourth, our forefathers in pre-colonial Philippines already possessed a working judicial and legislative system. Although not as advanced or as complicated as our own today, the fact that our ancestors already possess a working judicial and legislative system just goes to show that they were well versed in the concept of justice. We had penalties for anyone found guilty of a crime include censures, fines, imprisonment, and death. And this is exactly the kind of government our ancestors had. Like we've said, the system was not perfect, but it works. Fifth, we were self-sufficient. In terms of food, our forefathers did not suffer from any lack thereof, blessed with such a resource-rich country. They had enough for themselves and their families. Later on, when they learned to fill the land using farming techniques that were quite advanced for their time. The Banawe rice terraces is one such proof of our ancestors' ingenuity. 6. We had smoother foreign relations. We've all been taught that before the Spanish galleon trade, the pre-colonial Filipinos had already established trading and diplomatic relations with countries as far away as the Middle East. Out of the foreigners, it was the Chinese who were amazed, especially when it came to their extraordinary honesty and depth. 7. The know-how to make advanced weapons. Our ancestors, far from being the archetypal spear-carrying, bahag-wearing tribesmen, we picture them to be very proficient in the art of war. Aside from wielding swords and spears, they also knew how to make and fire guns and cannons. Raha Sulaiman, in particular, was said to have owned a huge 17 feet long iron cannon. 8. Several professions already existed. Aside from being farmers, hunters, weapon maker, and seafarers, the pre-colonial Filipinos also dabbled and excelled in several other professions as well. To name a few, many become involved in such professions as mining, textiles, and smithing. Owing to the excellent craftsmanship of the Filipinos, locally produced items such as pots, jewelry, and clothing were highly sought in other countries. 9. High literacy rate. Using the ancient system of writing called the babayin, the pre-colonial Filipinos educated themselves very well. 10. We already had an advanced civilization. Contrary to foreign accounts, our ancestors were not just some backward. jungle living savages, and reality, pre-colonial Philippines already possessed a very advanced civilization way before the coming of the Spanish. When the colonizers came, everything contradictory to their own system had to go. Conclusively, we can only speculate what would have happened had our ancestors never been colonized in the first place.